ready to go.
Okay. We'll call this meeting to order, and I'd like to ask everyone to please put your phone on silent so there's no interruptions. If we could all stand, please, for invocation and pledge of allegiance. Lord, we're meeting today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought and speech. Impart your superior wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Jay, roll call, please.
Board Member Langston.
Here.
Board Member Carnahan.
Here.
Board Member Conti.
Here.
Board Member Overway.
Here.
Vice Chair Dougal.
Here.
Chairman Hagan.
Here.
And Board Member Hennings let me know he will not be here tonight.
Okay. I'll ask the board if everybody's had a chance to read the minutes from the last meeting that we had. And if you did not see any errors in there, I did not. I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of October 21st, 2025.
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. New business. Tonight we've got 3 agenda items. I'd like for the public to know that you'll get a chance to comment on the items after the board discuss the item. Before we take a vote, I'll call for public participation. You'll have 3 minutes to state your concern, yea or nay for the item, and then come back to the board here and we'll vote on it. So with that, the rezoning application 406 Bob Little Road, Mr. Fry.
All right, good evening. Our first item is Mr. Jerry Steele is requesting a rezoning of the property at 406 Bob Little Road, which is at the intersection of Bob Little and 4th Street. It's been sitting vacant for quite a while. The request is to rezone it from R6M, which allows mobile homes, to R5, which does not allow mobile homes. He plans on building some houses there. What it does is it reduces the density from a 6,000 square foot lot to a 5,000 square foot lot. Seems to be kind of a trend. The smaller lots is what people are after nowadays. In my opinion, it's a no-brainer. He's in the process of developing Grand Oaks, which is right around the corner, coming along real good. Same developer.
Okay.
Mr. Steele is here tonight. It is my recommendation that this planning board convey a recommendation of approval to the city commission.
Can I entertain any questions from the board?
I was looking at the map, Bill, and the property seems to be split up. Maybe I was reading it wrong.
The property has a ditch that runs through it. It is a problem that the engineer is already working on to address the ditch. I believe they're going to move it out to the 4th Street right away. Sean McNeil is the engineer working on it. He's literally working on it right now. So when it comes to development order time, all that will be addressed. But it does kind of chop that little part on the south off. And it's water that comes from this area over here and makes its way to Martin Lake.
Yeah, I seen that. Well, we got some rain, but it's been dry, and I walked over there, I'm like, well, I thought maybe that fence there was
so people didn't fall off, you know what I mean? But I didn't see any water at the time, but that was last week. And it's just the 406, correct?
It's this lot right here.
That's it, all right. I have another question. Is the developer, does the developer own the property right now?
He does. The deed was recorded. It's still showing that Mr. Pierce owns it. If you click on here, but this is a few weeks behind. Once it's recorded, it takes them a little while to update the system.
Okay.
So this is the only property on that that'll be R5, everything else is R6M?
Currently, it's R6M right
I
now.
mean, yeah, but if we approve it, it'll be R5, that's the only place it'll be R5, is that correct or not?
I'll turn on the zoning layer and we'll see. The yellow is multifamily. It appears that most of this area, other than the multifamily, is R6M. And then the green is R8. And then from Highway 22, some of these properties going all the way back to 4th Street are zoned commercial.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just, well, if there's any other R5 property in the area.
Did anyone call about notices up?
I have not had any calls. Well, yeah, I did. Mr. Diaz talked to Lisa about it. It was informational only. Mr. Diaz may speak later in a minute. He didn't talk to me, but he talked to Lisa.
Anything else, sir? Anything else from any board members for our call for public participation? I see none, so I'll open up to a public participation concerning this item. Anyone in the audience wish to come up? Okay, I see none, so I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the zoning change for 406 Bob Little Drive from
Second.
R6M to R5.
I'll second.
Go ahead.
You got a second? Jay, you take a roll call, please.
Board Member Overway,
Yes.
Board Member Conti,
Yes.
Board Member Carnahan,
Yes.
Board Member Langston,
Yes.
Vice Chair Dugel,
Yes.
Chairman Hagan.
Yes. Motion carried. All right. Next agenda item, development order application for 325 Camellia Avenue. Mr. Fry, again.
All right, so not too far, just a little ways over here. It's the property is 325, but they also own, Mr. Jack owns this parcel back here. If you'll remember what too long ago, he got it rezoned to multifamily high density to allow this project to go through. We call him Dr. A, is engineer of record. Very simple design. It's essentially, it's a multi-family complex. It's essentially a house with a few, or actually 6 other units They're one-bedroom units. From what I understand, he plans on renting them to his employees. He runs a restaurant towards Tyndall, the Thai restaurant out there. I'm not sure the name of it, but he's the owner and the chef there.
Be the roll time.
He already has a pond that Dr. A utilized for the stormwater. This kind of shows you, this is an existing carport. Mr. Jack plans on living here himself. Multiple units on one parcel, or it's actually two parcels, but one tract of land requires it to be multifamily. These are detached duplexes, total of 7, with the 6 one-bedroom units. Plenty of parking. Parking is like every property. The property's pretty large. This is basic, what the units are gonna be. Apparently there's a need for some small houses. The requirement for multifamily is they have to be at least 550 square feet. These exceed that, not by much. That's not a very big unit. And the total average has to be 750. With the house, it does average over 750. Stormwater is pretty simple. It'll all accumulate in this pond, and then they're going to tie it into an existing drain box out on Camellia. With landscaping requirements met, and there's going to be a playground area. It's just big enough to where he is required to have 15% of it for open space. They were invited, this is just a drawing, a detail on how the water will be done. This is more for our utilities guys than anything. The water main is on the wrong side of the road, so instead of doing several floors under the road, we're just gonna do one large one with a 2-inch manifold, come off and have the meters on here.
Why are they putting 8 meters in for 6 houses?
Irrigation.
It looks like he's got plans for 2 more houses going in, that's why I'm wondering,
He would have to come back for development, or this is only gonna approve exactly what you're seeing.
Let's say that.
yeah, that shows 8 meters in. Like 8 houses going in instead of 6.
If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them for you. They were invited, I'm not sure why they're not here.
Commissioner Griggs said there was going to be a problem with the roadway being large enough when we approved the multifamily. Has that issue been addressed and taken care
You
of?
mentioned we have a minimum unit requirement, but they've met that because they're gonna have 7 units on the property. Which, we'll get to that in a little while. We're gonna try to remove the minimum unit requirement for multifamily, because everybody I've asked, why would we have a minimum? It doesn't make sense to me. It makes complete sense to have a maximum for sure, but why have a minimum? But they have met that.
I thought there was a... There was something about the roadway and the houses not being wide enough with parking and all. When Commissioner Griggs brought it up at the meeting after we approved this,
this is gonna be on private property. The city will not maintain or own any of it.
Well, I'm glad to see the lots cleaned up anyways.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
Any other board members, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna make a statement that I thought when he came before the commission that he was going to build units for his family to live in, not for rental. That's the whole gist of going to the commission to get it approved for the multifamily was he was going to do, you know what I mean, build stuff for his family to live in, not to have rental units.
And that may be the case. I do know he mentioned his employees, but whenever this is built, we're not gonna have any control on who he rents them to. We just don't have that authority.
So they can come say what they want to and get it approved and then do, kind of
Whatever they-
backtrack and do what they want to
I
then.
think we should assume that he's gonna rent them to whoever, not necessarily.
But having stranger, I mean, I know people are people, but, you know, that might have affected the neighbors just a little bit differently had it been family versus, you know what I mean, just workers that come and go, or, you know what I'm saying? That's the kind of way I feel, is it could have affected it.
Well, there's a lot of commercial around there too, so this would be more of a family type thing versus right across the street is a giant commercial building. I don't even know what they do, but it's brick and it's gotta be 30 feet high. And then you got the corner, is the corner, Bill, is that zoned, commercial?
All this is,
All
all
that's
this in red
commercial.
is zoned highway commercial.
Right, and then you got this huge building on the corner right across the street.
Yeah.
Just saying.
This was originally a grocery store, an Albertsons, and it failed, and now it is a conditioned storage.
Right.
Didn't even work for a bingo operation.
They try to do that?
Yes, they had bingo in there after Albertson moved in. Yeah. So, now,
Put it in.
there's a storage unit there next to Walgreens.
Has the homeowners at 327 made any indication if they have any concern with it?
He owns 327.
I have not received any concerns.
He owns
Talking
327.
about right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't received any concerns
He
from
owns
anyone.
377.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
It's different.
You good? I'll open up to the public. Any public comments? I see none, so I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the development order application for 325 Camellia Avenue.
I'll second.
Jay, have roll call, please.
Board Member Conti,
Yes.
Board Member Carnahan,
Yes.
Board Member Langston,
Yes.
Board Member Overway,
Yes.
Vice Chair Dugel,
Yes.
Chairman Hagan.
Yes. Motion carried, approved. Okay. Now the big one that's on the agenda tonight. Comprehension Plan Amendment Review. I would like to give everyone a chance and for the public, here's what I'd like to do with this review. I'd like to go by section, give everybody a chance. Once you should have reviewed it, it's lengthy. Give you a chance for each of the table of contents in case there's something within that, like the future land use element. If there's something in there that you object to, like say change, whatever, we can address that then. And we'll go on through. There's actually, well, 11, actually 10. and then we'll open it up for public if they've had a chance to review this document, and then we'll come back and vote on it. Anybody understand? I hope I got it straight, but I think that would be appropriate since we're going through this section. Not trying to keep you here longer, I just, there is some things I have myself, and I'd rather hit them at the time that we hit the sections. So with that, Bill, I'll let you at least do open comments to it before we discuss it.
It's time for us to update this, and our friend, Mr. Raymond Greer here, is the planning consultant of choice in the area. So we're lucky to have him doing the revisions for us. So I'm gonna turn it over to Ray and let him kind of take it from here.
Okay?
So before we begin, I would like to just take a moment to give you a kind of a background of what we're doing, why we're doing it, what the comp plan is, what the land development regulations is. So the comprehensive plan is required by statute. Florida Statute 163 requires every local government in the state of Florida to have and maintain a comprehensive plan. And it specifies all the elements you have to have and what the elements have to contain. So that's defined by Florida statutes. Every local government has to adopt one. The requirement began in 1990 and has been moving forward. The legislators, well, they have amended Chapter 163 almost every year. Sometimes it's every couple of years, sometimes it's significant changes, sometimes it's not. But one of the requirements in Chapter 163 is that local government maintain their planning horizon. Therefore, your comprehensive plan looks out. It's just what it is. It's the future land use. So comp plan's the big picture, and then it's all implemented through the land development regulations. And so the state oversees the comprehensive plan. To amend the comp plan, it has to go to the state of Florida. Department of Commerce is the agency now. The name of the agency, that is the State Land Planning Agency. So with that, they require, 163 requires that local government update their comprehensive plan, evaluate it every 7 years. So it's evaluated based on the census. The census is done every 10 years. So you begin your evaluation appraisal report process, takes a couple years, and by the time you're ready to update your plan, it's been 10 years. So the last time the comprehensive plan was updated was in 2010. And it was done through the ERA process. And it took several years to go through that process and then update the plan. And I worked on it, I updated the plan, did the ERA also back at then. And since then, the statute has changed several times. The last evaluation appraisal report, the city was up to date. They had a planning horizon that went out to 2025. So they met everything, and they did not have to update their comp plan other than minor changes that occurred over the last 7 or 8 years. We've added like the property rights element. We've added little stuff to keep it up to date until the next big update, which is now. The planning horizon does expire. It expires this month. End of this month, it will expire. The comp plan, of course, now the statute changed from 10 years. Now you have to have 20-year plan horizon. So that's why you see a 2045 date set for the new comp plan. So in doing the comp plan, basically what we have done is we went through, what I do, I have a spreadsheet that has all the requirements for all the elements. I've been doing this for 30 years, over 30 years. And I've written hundreds of comp plans. I've done hundreds and thousands of acres of comp plan amendments. I've worked all over the state of Florida. I've worked for the state of Florida. I've reviewed comp plans. I've prepared them on both sides. I understand comp plans very well. And one of the things that I do is a lot of long-range planning. So what we do is we take that spreadsheet and we go through the plan. We go through element by element, and we go through what has changed since the last update, what needs to be changed. As you see, there's dates that have been marked through, and that's been either changed, and then the stuff that's no longer required, we've taken out. And so a lot of the strike through the line is stuff that's been removed, either it's not necessary or no longer applies. And then, of course, we prepared the data analysis, which is at the very end of the comp plan, which is what sets the planning horizon forward. And then we've updated the complete map series to also map out to 2045. And in doing that, there's changes. Bill and his staff has looked over it, reviewed it. They've gave us back, their comments. We'll incorporate those changes in. If y'all have comments or, questions, we can incorporate those changes in also. It does, a lot of people, they forget that it does have to meet statutory requirements, so we can't take out everything. There's stuff in there for a reason. And so a lot of, not only planning boards, but a lot of times the city commissions think, oh, I don't want that in there, but you have to have it in there. And I'll be glad to give you guidance on that as we go through this. And you can ask me questions too as you go through each element or however you want to do it, and I'll be glad to address them and answer them.
That would probably be appropriate for the board since he's got the background information. If anybody, when we get to the sections, if you want to address that, if you don't mind.
No,
Is that
no.
all right?
Yeah, sure.
Jay, you see any problems with that? All right, very good.
And also to give you the time frame, what goes on here. So this is transmittal. So this is a large-scale land use amendment, and it is a comp plan update. So it will go to the state, it will go to all the review agencies, which is Department of Transportation, Department of Environmental Protection, the Water Management District, the school board, the Department of Education. Everybody gets it, including Bay County. Bay County will get a copy of it. It goes for review. So this is just proposed. After it leaves here, it goes to the city commission. If they vote to transmit it, we will send it to the state and all the review agencies. They will review it. They will provide us comments back, and then it will come back to the city for adoption. So it's a multi-stage process of getting adopted. So this will be probably March sometime before it's adopted.
All right, very good. Appreciate that info. The first section of the comprehension plan for 2045 is the future and land use element. Any board member have any comments dealing with that particular session?
Yeah, it says, medium density will be changed from, 7 units to 9 units per acre. On page 1, and again on page, I believe it's, I forget where else in here, but it's mentioned several times throughout here. And I'd rather see that stay at 7 instead of 9. I don't know about anybody else. Under policy 1-2, paragraph 3.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I see what you're talking about, but I don't.
Yeah, it's actually 8.99 on medium density.
It's just rounding that number.
It's rounding it up.
It says 7 units per acre, okay.
728.
And then later on it says, where's it at, back here?
Yeah, so what we did, we took, and I don't know where that density, that was actually in the original comp plan. So basically, we just rounded up. It was 7.99, we rounded to 8, and that 8.99, I don't know where
I
that came
always
from.
wonder how Bill dealt with those points.
And now it says, and now it's gonna be 9 units per acre?
Well, it's the 8.99, that's,
The 8.99 is redlined though, it's no more than 9.
yeah, so it'll be 9 units, and it
But
goes from 8.99 to 9 units.
And it takes out the minimum. The 7 is the
Well,
minimum.
I don't know where the minimum, that doesn't make any sense either to have a minimum. I don't know where that came from, or how that got in here.
I've asked everybody, nobody can tell me why we have a minimum.
So 7's irrelevant, and 8.99 is rounded up to 9.
Yeah, that will be the
So
max.
that's what,
Which is how it's been interpreted, isn't it? Isn't that how y'all have interpreted it over the years?
And whenever I tell developers 8.99, they think I'm making it up.
And that lays the question I had too on the policy 1.6,
Yeah,
where you're showing 6.99. Why did you not
and that-
round that one up?
Yeah, and that was something that's actually something we missed, but we fixed that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
Bill and Lisa
Right.
pointed that out. So we did fix that from their comments.
Well, maybe that's what I was looking at for.
Yeah, I had completely overlooked that policy.
Let's see. Anybody else on the first portion?
So, I do.
Okay.
I'm curious because on the background it states that this is required. But then, it states later that it shall be maintained, and will the changes, try to think how to ask this so it's not confusing. Will changing it with the maintain allow changes as needed, or is this something that it has to be changed as a whole, or?
No, you can amend your plan at any time. Is that what you mean? Yeah, so you can amend any part of this
Okay.
at any time, like anybody, Bill sees something needs to be amended next month, you can file an amendment to the plan. You just have to go through the same process, but it is the whole comp plan. You can amend one policy if you want, you can amend one word if you want. The local governments can amend their plan. It used to be only twice a year, but now local governments can do it as much as they want now.
Okay.
What's statutory required is that you keep your comp plan up to date with a planning horizon that's 20 years.
Okay, so the required is 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only other comment to the section that I personally have, and it's only a comment, it's not a yay or nay situation, but when we're dealing with transient-friendly development and multimodal facilities and things, and I have brought this up to the commission before, a while back, but as we develop these bus stops, I'll just call it trolley stops, whatever you want to refer to, as we get to developing Callaway, I would like to see personally pull-offs for the transits to allow a safer boarding, unboarding of the bus as you got traffic. You see this county growing, you see our city growing, and that's good. But before long, Tyndall Parkway may become a 6-lane highway. I know that's far-fetched and a joke right now, but anyway, the traffic is getting horrendous out there. So to me, if you've got a chance to make that happen in the comprehension plan, and at least future development, just a recommendation, 2 cents worth.
Yeah, and honestly, that is something that really needs to happen. But it's very hard because it's, of course, in DOT right away.
It is.
But it is something that the NPO can do, and of course, Callaway has one of their commissioners who sit on the NPO.
Right.
But it is something I think should be brought up. It is done in a lot of cities where they've had to go back and implement, because you actually block a lane with a bus, especially when it's a full-size bus, having to stop. And City of Tallahassee's done it with it.
Yeah, I mentioned that too, in case we expand the service in Callaway other than just Tyndall Parkway or 98. Hopefully we can do that.
But it is a very good point.
Okay. And I'm done with section 1. Anybody else?
On transportation, on policy 1.5, it says, the applicant may choose to satisfy all transportation by contributing or paying. I'd rather just see them pay for it. I mean, it says they can contribute to it.
Yeah, and in the city
That
of
you went to transportation. You look like you were lost.
No.
So previously, concurrency was done for transportation through proportionate fair share, and then later it was removed from the statute, and it allowed local governments to basically strike the concurrency options. They can either have none, but they have to deal with traffic somehow, or implement a different way. The city of Callaway has done impact fees to pay for transportation. So with impact fees, you do an impact fee study, you have to identify where that money will go, And so every development has to pay into the impact fees. It has to pay impact fees, and that money goes into a pot that gets put in for improvements to define roads inside the city. That's how the city has chosen to deal with concurrency,
But this is giving them an option out of that, right?
if they pay for the improvements themselves. And it's up to the city. It's up to the city how that is mitigated.
Any other comments on that section, transportation elements?
Let's go on the first section.
Yeah. Just on the first section.
No, the transportation is the second part.
Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead a section.
What area?
I still have a couple questions on the
I'm
future
sorry,
land
go ahead.
use element.
I'm sorry.
So on page 9, they took out a public school capacity as part of the consideration for the large-scale applications and stuff. Is there a reason why we took out the public school capacity? Because I guess I'm curious because I would think that the schools in the area would be affected by, the large-scale developments that do come in. And so we definitely need, a place for the children to go to school. And is that just going to fall on the school board?
No, so school concurrency, that was enacted through Senate Bill 360 about 15 years ago. It became a requirement. It's been something that actually the state has worked on for years here, and they got it into the comprehensive plan. The first part was you had to do an interlocal agreement. Every local government did an interlocal agreement with the school board so they could work together and plan together. So Bill, when he has large-scale land use amendments, he shares them, or in developments, he shares them with the school board. So that is still a requirement. And every local government had to adopt them, they all have them, the interlocal agreements with the school board, including the city of Callaway. And then in 2010 with Senate Bill 360, part of that Senate Bill 360 was school concurrency. So it then required every local government to have a school element that had to be put into the comprehensive plans and had concurrency that was tied to it. So all of it was mitigated and dealt with through the school board. So in 2018, they struck it. They took that part out. There was a lot of complications to that statewide, implementing with the local governments, the counties, and the school board on the school concurrency. So the legislators ended up taking that out, so it's no longer a requirement. But what still is, so the school concurrency stuff got strict, this struck out through the comp plan. We removed that element. We've been removing them every time we update the comp plan because it's no longer required element. So we removed it, but the interlocal agreement remains. And so you'll see policies in here that have to remain to address the interlocal agreement. So Bill still coordinates with the school board. The school board is still involved in large-scale developments, as required by statute.
Anything else?
On page 10, on 5.3, it says that the city may consider implementing economic incentives designed to attract new businesses, specifically in the retail, ecotourism industries. When they say implementing, I'm assuming that the city would be the one to come up with the incentives and pick and choose what businesses they would offer incentives to? Okay.
That is correct.
I'm done on section 1.
Okay, good questions. Move on, transportation elements. Any questions on that section?
I have one more question.
Okay.
On objective 8, it says, service map in order to discourage the proliferation of urban sprawl. What map are we talking about there?
No, you're so fine.
It's the urban service area, so it's the service area of the city.
Okay.
There's a map that has the service area that the city has agreed upon with the county to service.
Is that in the back here or what?
Yeah, it's in the map series.
I was looking for it, I didn't see it. Which map are we, I'm not sure which map we're talking about.
It's map 10. The city of Callaway service
Okay,
area map.
that's the map, okay.
So that area, so you can see the city boundary, and then there's that green area. So the
Yeah.
county and the city have an agreement that the city, that's their service area that they can service. So anything in there, basically, when you look out long range, it becomes the areas where the city would grow, where they would provide utilities and could annex inside that area. The county and the city have agreed on that. So that would be the future growth area of the city. And as probably many of y'all are aware of, the city has utilities in a large portion of this area currently.
Okay, that was it, my questions on this section.
Anything else?
I have a couple questions as far as the transportation.
Okay.
On page 16 on 5.2, we're removing the requirement for Bay County Sheriff's Office to compile accident data by location.
So, yeah, we basically reworded this. So we struck the part and then reworded it, where now it says, use accident data compiled by the Bay County Sheriff's Office. I mean, and I know they come and give the updates, I know they do the commission, like every month on the calls and everything.
Well, right, yeah, because they just started giving the details of, like what intersection and stuff like that.
But it's basically, instead of saying required, basically we're saying we're gonna use that data that they already acquired. Because they are, of course, your police force.
But does that give them the option to not provide it or to
No,
not
I
do
mean, I
it?
think that's not how this is worded, but that actually is a different agreement that the city and the sheriff has that doesn't have anything to do with this policy. I mean, they have an agreement for the policing of the city of Callaway, between the city and the sheriff's department.
I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't gonna do away with
Oh,
us
yeah.
getting,
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean? The
that's a
detailed
good point.
information, because I think it's important for this, for the safety of the city and
Oh, no,
the people
definitely,
and
no,
stuff,
that's
so.
a very good question.
And then my last question is going to be on page 17, under 5.6, about, it's stricken that the city will work with the Baytown Trolley. I know that they were kind of talking about that, as far as to increase bus routes and service, and I think, I guess with it being stricken, does that take away with trying to have the bus routes for Callaway?
No.
Will it affect anything, or?
So basically, these policies were put in here, this was when really that Baytown Trolley was beginning back in the 2010. So basically now, the Baytown Trolley is under the MPO. And of course, every city has a commissioner who sits on the MPO. So this has been addressed. This is the reason we took it out. This already happens. This happens now between the MPO and the local governments. Everything, the road planning, the bus, the whole, now it's called Bayway.
Bayway.
So all that has been solidified, and that's why we've removed these policies. That's already been taken care of.
And I understand that they're working with them and stuff, but, I don't want an instance to come up and go, oh, well, you know, it's not in the ordinance, you know what I'm saying? It's not written in the ordinance because, you know, that's never happened. You know what I'm saying? It's not in writing, or if it's not in our ordinance or anything like that, so that's why I was just concerned about the relationship with the trolley
Yeah.
being removed out of the ordinance.
Yeah, and this actually, that is part of a different agreement between the MPOs and the city and all the cities. All the cities in Bay County and the county that work with the MPO. And how that board is made up. It's a whole different process from this comp plan. This comp plan doesn't dictate that part of it.
Yeah, because I attend those meetings as well, so.
And like I said, I have witnessed over the last 30 years, a lot of people walking Cherry Street to go to the bus stop on
Yes.
Tender Parkway. So
Absolutely.
maybe someday in the future, we can extend that to help them out.
Hopefully with the sidewalks, it'll help a little bit,
Yes.
keep them a little ways off the road as far as safety.
All right, anything else? Anyone on that section? All clear, we'll move on to housing element. The only question I had, I noticed you had some dates, December 31st, 2027, to complete some things within this area. Is that, I was just curious why that date was picked.
This would give us enough time to get a couple of these things. Some of this stuff needs to be done, we're gonna have to do, but it's gonna take coordinating with the city, Bill and his staff on some of these other items.
Okay,
And so what we did, we put enough time in there to accomplish those.
very good.
And some of it's LDR updates that's tied in, you know, and so we're gonna, and I'll talk about it after we're done with these 9 elements, but there's gonna be some changes, you know, to the comp plan and the LDRs that we're proposing that's going along with this update.
Okay. Any board comments on that section? The next section is recreation and open space elements.
And I will say on this, good, preface it, the recreation and open space element, the changes that has occurred in the last 6 to 7 years with the recreation and open space element is, the level of service is no longer required. You have to have the element, but you don't have to have level of service. The city has decided to keep the level of service, and maintain it for what it is. And then the city, of course, as y'all know, has a significant amount of parks, way more than a lot of other procurements.
Question, do we have a recreation advisory committee?
We used to,
Says here you established one. Policy 2.2. I didn't know if maybe leisure service was tied into that or what. Just a point I noted.
I know we used to, we'll check into it. Jay, you remember to look into that?
Yes.
You can make it the planning board and add Tim to it.
Well, you know, the word established is kind of mandate as far as I'm concerned.
Doesn't have a date. It'll be established.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to comment on that section before we move on? Okay, infrastructure element.
I think we should have something in here about lift stations. Cannot smell.
No comments, we'll move on to the conservation element.
have a question, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I do have a question on that one. On the policy 1.2 on page 24, I guess it said, about 90%, of the existing treatment capacity for the sewer system, then Callaway will develop and implement an expansion program. I guess I'm kind of curious of why you would wait till 90% to kind of have to develop a plan, if you're at the 90% capacity.
And it would be allocated, it'd be to increase the allocated demand. You have to start planning. By statute, local government who operates, and which is Bay County, military, and the cities, because they're all part of the military permanent plant, at 75%, once you reach 75%, you have to start planning to increase that plant. And so this policy has always been held at 90% to increase the allocated amount, which is the amount you're allocated. Each local government's allocated a certain amount to the military permanent plant.
So it's 75%, not 90?
Well, 75% is when they have to plan to upgrade the plant. So Military Point Sewer Plant would have to be, the wastewater treatment plant would, at 75%, they would have to begin planning for the upgrades to it, which they already are. They're working on upgrades now to Military Point, long-range improvements out there.
Okay, well then what does it mean by develop if it says develop and implement? I mean, is developing is whenever they build it or start to
No, this is, so
do
the
what they need
city,
to do?
the plant operates, they have a capacity for the overall plant. So that plant, they have to operate that, and when it reaches 75%, is when they would expand the plant, or plan for it, which, they are today. This policy is actually, you have an allocated amount. So you're allocated, the city of Callaway, through an analog agreement with Bay County, and the other cities are allocated an amount. So if you were to reach that amount, you would need to increase that amount that you're allocated. From the plant would have to have the capacity, but it's your allocated amount that you would then begin coordinating with the county on to increase.
So you're saying if we had 10% allocated to the city treatment plants, and we used 9% of it, then we'd have to renegotiate it, or what?
Well, you would, if you're reaching your allocated amount, the city would need to be coordinating with the county to increase it for future growth.
Last I heard, we're at 64% of our allocated amount. We're in good shape.
There's 300 houses going next door.
See, is that before or after they build all the developments that have been approved?
We've burned up some of that, but I haven't heard lately what the percentage is, but that was not that long ago, I want to say about a year and a half ago. I know we've had a lot of
Changes.
But the good thing is, the county is looking at improvements to Military Point to expand and increase that plant.
You good? Good. Okay, we'll move on to the next section then, conservation elements, if there's any comments there. I didn't have any. No comments? The next one is the coastal management element. Comments there, we're running to the intergovernmental coordination element.
I will point out that the page number is incorrect on that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Bill had mentioned that, and that would be my fault.
It says page 45, but it's
Yeah,
46.
Bill. Yeah,
Put one little tabs on there.
that has been updated also.
Good catch there, Mr. Conti, I missed that one.
It's those little things that'll get you. I checked that myself, and still missed. And I numbered those pages.
And no other comments in the capital improvement element? A lot of deletion on that one. Comment on that one, and then the next one is totally deleted, with the public school facility elements, and the reason for that deletion.
It's, as I mentioned earlier, it's no longer required, so they took it out of 163. And as I mentioned before, so the school element that was required, this element was required to put in your comp plan 15 years ago. They removed this, but the interlocal agreement still remains. So the city has an interlocal agreement with the school board that is in effect, and there's policies throughout this comp plan that actually addresses that.
Right, I know throughout earlier school boards and things had been mentioned, but,
Yeah, and those are required by statute.
okay. Next section, private property right elements. That's a short half page.
And that was an element that was added 2019. The legislators added, somebody lobbied to get this put in to the comp plan, so every local government had to adopt. It's the shortest element, the shortest requirement. But every local government in the state of Florida had to adopt this element. And then we went through and updated all the comprehensive map series, the future land use map series. We updated all of them with current data from both the state and the county, and DOT for the road maps, and the NPO, to also not only address District 3's level service, but also what's in the NPO and the long-range transportation plan, the 2045 long-range transportation plan that the NPO has.
The question I have is the City of Callaway 2045 Comprehension Plan data analysis still a part of the 2045 Comprehension Plan?
Yeah,
Is
it
it
is
one
not.
document?
It is not, no, I put it in as one document so you wouldn't have two.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it will not be adopted. It has to be transmitted with the comp plan to support it. But this used to be required to be adopted, but now they no longer have to be adopted. And so we have to make sure, I put this in here to make sure it does not go in the ordinance. When we adopt at the final, we don't want this in the ordinance, but it has to be transmitted to the state.
Okay, so it's just for our viewing, no comments or anything?
Yeah, it's for support of the elements. It's required by statute that you
Okay.
have it. You just don't adopt it.
Very good then. Anyone in the audience would like to comment to what we just discussed? I see none. Okay, and thank you, members, for your comments. They're really good. And for bearing with me and the time to go through each section. With this, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
We need to get Bill something to take to the commission, so.
Motion to approve the comprehensive plan for 2025.
Second.
Okay, Jay, roll call, please.
Board Member Carnahan,
Yes.
Board Member Langston,
Yes.
Board Member Overway,
Yes.
Board Member Conti,
Yes.
Vice Chair Dugel,
Yes.
Chairman Hagan.
Yes. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting.
We need
Oh, I'm sorry.
a motion to adjourn, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Well, can I say something before we?
Yes, sir, but we won't adjourn. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, the other part of this that I wanted to mention you, and I didn't want to do it in the beginning because it gets kind of confusing. So, I don't know how many y'all are aware, I came and did a presentation back in 18, 19, and then back in 20 on the Tyndall Joint Land Use Study. So I worked with the county to prepare the Tyndall Joint Land Use Study, which is, the Joint Land Use Study analyzes, it's paid through the Department of Defense, it analyzes everything outside the fence. So it focuses back on the community, how the military base impacts the community, and how the community impacts the military base. And then it looks at ways to work together and to make those impacts less, and be able to have, a base that continues to grow, and the mission continues, and the local governments can continue to grow. They find common grounds, and we work it through, any impacts both ways, how Tyndall impacts the community and how the community impacts Tyndall. So that study makes recommendations. Part of the recommendations was the update to this comp plan. Because without an updated comp plan, that doesn't help the base if your comp plan's not up to date. And in addition to it, we had overlay districts to implement for Tyndall. And what it is coordination elements to coordinate certain stuff. Tyndall has a couple of areas that is affected by Callaway, that can be affected by Callaway and continue growth, whether it be, frequency spectrum, whether it's height with their imaginary surface areas for their runway, their takeoff and approach zones. And then, of course, Parker has the higher altitude potential zone. It does not go into Callaway, but Callaway does have the other flight areas and frequency spectrum areas. We have written those overlay districts. And those overlay districts were in this comp plan up till a few months ago. And you're going to see them again. We're going to bring them back. But something happened with the legislators last session, and they passed what is called House Bill 180. And it's targeted for 3 hurricanes. It's Milton, Debbie, and Helene that happened in 2024. And so any local government who declared a state of emergency during 2024 for either 3 of those hurricanes are subject to this Senate bill. What this Senate Bill 180 does is it does not allow a local government to adopt anything in the comp plan or land development regulations that's more restrictive than what was there in 2024. So we can't implement those overlay districts until that bill is resolved. It expires in 2027. I've been told there's legislators going to work on it to get the northern part of the state out of it, but regardless, that's still going to be another year. So Department of Defense paid for the comp plan to be updated. They paid for those overlay districts. All of this will go. Not only will we send this to the state, it's also going to the Department of Defense. And those overlay districts have already been submitted to them, but we will bring them back, and we'll put them back in your comp plan after Senate Bill 180 is resolved. And they're literally, I have a comp plan now where Department of Commerce, it went into effect in July, and then they started throwing comp plans out starting in September, October. I have one that they basically deemed not adopted and threw it out over a level of service for sewer because it was more restrictive than what was previously adopted. And so they're in a bad position. They didn't want this, but it complicates things on comp plan updates. So we have to make sure we don't have anything more restrictive in there.
I appreciate that input.
But that'll be just, the overlay districts will be transmitted at that time, not the
It will.
whole.
Nope, we will bring the overlay districts back when Senate Bill 180 is resolved, and it will also have LDR changes. It has some comp plan and LDR changes. And what we were going to do is those dates where we pushed off for the LDR, we were going to make those changes and stick them in the LDR at the same time. We were going to do all this together, but with House Bill 180, prevented us. So I didn't want to tell you that up front because it's, it gets confusing.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you very much for explaining.
And thank you for reviewing. I mean, that's very impressive. Most local governments don't spend the time that y'all just did. for sure.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, no worries.